Hello, how's it going? Who is ready for an experiment? I am. Today we are going to do sink or float. So we need to gather some objects to do this. And I'm thinking it's going to be fun to do this outside. So grab an adult and walk around your yard or house, and you're going to look for 5 to 10 objects that you want to test out. Now, the first thing we need to do is gather our items for our float sink experiment. So get something to hold your things in and take a walk around your yard or your house and find 5 to 10 objects that you want to see if they sink or float. All right, let's go explore. All right, once you have your items, we are going to need to set up a little chart here. So sink or float, I have the object, and then in my next column, you're going to have your prediction or your hypothesis, and then we're going to have our results and notes. So for our prediction and hypothesis, we're going to guess, make our best guess, that's a hypothesis, about what we think is going to happen to our objects. Okay, after you have the names of the items written on your chart, you're going to want to look at your objects and try to figure out, based on looking at it and picking it up, if you think it's going to sink or float. You can also write that you think it's going to sink, but it might go down slower if you want to add that. Otherwise, you can just keep it easy, write simple. Keep it simple, write sink or float. Okay, once you have filled out your chart, you want to get a bowl or fill up your sink in your kitchen, something big enough that you can fit all of your objects into. Maybe you have a bucket and you could do this outside if it's nice out. Okay, you have seen all of the objects that I'm going to use. I'm going to start with one of my rocks. But if there are other things that you have similar to mine or the same as mine, then you should test yours out first, and then you can see what my results were after, just so you don't see what's going to happen. All right. So I just changed one of my predictions. My leaf rock, which I'm going to test out first, it kind of looks like it's shaped like a little maple leaf. I think that is going to sink, but I think it's going to sink slowly. So let's see what happens. It definitely sunk and it didn't look very slow. My other rock that I have is my round rock, kind of oval shape, and I think that's gonna just sink. Yeah. Don't forget, after you test out each thing, just add it to your results section. So both of mine just sank. Milkweed pod. Float in and we'll see what happens. And it's floating. All right, so I'm going to see if this deer bone sinks or floats. I wrote, I think it's going to sink. Oh no, it did sink. I was secretly hoping it was going to float. All right, I think this is a fun experiment. I'm going to try one last thing. I have my two rocks here that both sank. I'm going to see if they sink at the same time, or if the leaf one is a little bit slower. So you want to try to drop them at exactly the same time. 1, 2, 3. All right, so the leaf one took a tiny little bit longer. I don't know if you could see that from where you were. That was pretty neat. Okay, so how did you make out? What were your predictions and your results? Did they match? Did they not match? I think that was a lot of fun. I think it's kind of fun to race different things to see what sinks faster or slower. So you can kind of put a twist on that if you want to grab two of your objects that you knew sank and see if one sinks quicker than the other. That's what I just did with my rocks there. Okay, so another thing you can do is the same experiment, but this time instead of things from outside, you could find things in your house and see if they sink or float. All right, I hope you had as much fun as I did. I think this is such a neat thing to do. And I would love to know what objects you found outside and you were able to test out, and if your guesses, if your predictions were the same as your results. So let me know by email or you can comment below, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks for stopping by.